My name is Jay Webster, and I am an Under-Communicator. Well, technically, I'm a recovering Under-Communicator. That's what we're talking about today on the podcast. It is a heartwarming conversation that will make you feel really wonderful inside, give you hope for the future, make you feel more alive. It's a delight. And so we're so grateful to have this conversation with you today. So let's get started.
This is a production of Pioneer Dream, celebrating 30 years of moving stories for corporate, nonprofit, and entertainment partners. Please help us keep the conversation going by rating, liking, and subscribing to this podcast. Thank you. Also, make sure to check out our other podcast, Mixed Up Mystics, featuring refreshingly honest conversations about Christianity, and Got a Minute Mini Podcast, presenting funny stories and independent music, all in about 15 minutes. Now, here's Jay and Anjanette Webster.
Humans, welcome back to the podcast. Thank you, Evangeline, for your introduction. Hello, Anjanette.
Hey, what's going on? Was that weird?
Well, no, it's fine. I'm
Okay.
sure it'll be great.
All right, you want to try it again?
No,
okay, go ahead.
it's all
yeah.
good. No, it's all
okay.
good.
Hi, Jay. I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having
You
me.
seem like you're happy to be here.
I am. I've had a great couple of days.
Yeah? What do you attribute that to? I mean, besides me,
Obviously.
present company.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, you want to know the honest truth? Are we just
Bring
going to open it up?
Let's do it.
Even before the announcements?
Wow.
I was in a tough patch. I
Yeah.
was having a tough patch. Those happen more frequently than they used to.
Yeah.
And I was a little directionless on some things, and I still am a little directionless on some things. We're always
Rudderless.
Rudderless. Yeah. I wasn't like, I don't know, running around the streets naked or anything like that. I wouldn't say rudderless.
No complaints here if you did.
No, okay. My point is, I don't know. Sometimes there's projects because we're creative, we're always
We were in a transition season, and those are a little
we're always seeking like
funky.
what would be
Yeah.
next music wise, what would be next creatively, those type of things.
Yes.
And so I did feel a little rudderless in that direction, although fully clothed.
Yes.
And then I felt a little sorry for myself one day, pretty sorry for myself, actually. I had a pity party, and
Yeah.
like my mom used to say, nobody comes to those but yourself.
There you go.
And I woke up the next day and I thought, I'm going to kick this situation's ass. That's
Wow.
it. So sorry, everyone, for a cuss word. This is a great opener.
Just a minute and a half
Do you want to send this into the potential Emmys?
Yeah,
This is our
right.
submission.
Pod Emmys.
No, but I just
Epitomes.
I felt energized the next morning to say that you've got choices here. So you can either sit here and feel sorry for yourself. You can accept that there's not a lot of direction coming, but you can still be grateful for what you have and get up and start opening some doors and opening some windows.
Right.
And so I kind of did. And I've had a good couple of days of just like pursuing some ideas and thinking of things. And
Yeah.
I stopped feeling sorry for myself because there's no reason to. So there you go.
It is an interesting principle that we've talked about before, that a lot of times inspiration really just sneaks up on you. A lot of times it happens when you're in the practice of whatever it is you're doing. So
True.
if you sit down at the canvas, if you sit down at the piano, if you sit down to write and you begin to get into a flow, oftentimes you're much more likely to come into creativity than just walking down the street and something hitting you. That does happen, but
Yeah.
the more often we open the window, the more
Yeah.
likely. And that's free, friends. That's not even what we're talking about
That's
today.
so true. Yeah,
Just
so I'm
write
feeling
that
pretty
down.
good. And how are you?
Fine. Just want to remind people to mark their calendars, because after the long summer break,
Yes.
we are coming back with the Dreamers Live event on September 25th. That's a Friday.
Yes, I've been working on some details for that, and I
It's
found
gonna be a
myself
fun event.
really looking forward to
Yeah.
even enjoying the work of the details.
It will most likely, we can't release the details yet,
It's
but it'll
pretty
most
for
likely
sure.
going to be at a brand new location,
Yes.
a location you've not been in before
Yes.
in this capacity for
It's
certain.
pretty cool.
So if you are in the tri-state area,
yeah,
make
you're
plans
right.
now. Mark your calendars
Aren't
for
there
the
4 states that are really within driving distance for us?
I don't know. They just
Let's
always
just say
they always
quad
say
state.
They always say tri-state.
Okay, I like it.
Yeah. So mark your calendars. September 25th. It'll be like a 5:30 to 7:30, 5 to 7 kind of thing with cocktail hours always.
Yes.
And it'll be a super fun event, and
Yeah.
we're really excited about it.
It'll
So
be a good reunion. We've missed you guys over
Oh
the
my
summer.
gosh.
It's going to be fun. A lot of new people over the summer have said, hey, put me on the list. I really want to come
Right.
check this out. And so
Yeah.
that's always fun to meet new friends and to see the old ones.
Yes.
And I'm looking forward to it. September 25th is the day.
Another way that you can be encouraged and do all those things is to join us on the social. So both this podcast, Hope for Humans, and our sister podcast, Mixed Up Mystics, are on the socials.
They are.
And there's video content there, and there's some behind-the-scenes stuff there, and bonus materials and all that stuff. So simply go to your Facebooks and type in Hope for Humans, and you will find us. And then just click that you want to follow or like us or all those things.
Yeah. I wish there was like a
worth
love
it.
button.
I
Like
do.
love. I mean, like I love that you can react to comments like that now, like love on your phone or whatever. But I wish there was a like if you want to love the dreamers, if you want to love
when like
humans,
is not strong enough.
Yeah. You want to love our page.
Right.
So anyway, I'll work on that.
I also want to shout out, we get to see so many of you out on the streets, especially here in the Ville. Mm-hmm. And I was at the Lowe's Depot recently, and we know a lot of the people that work there because we're there so frequently. It's like if we don't show up,
They're
in
concerned.
a week, they send a wellness check and make sure that we're
Yeah,
okay.
that's me during gardening season. It's you all year round.
Yeah.
But when you're working on a project, which you are right now, I would say would you say you average 10 trips a week to Lowe's?
Maybe because there's a lot of repeats in a day.
Yeah, there's a lot of returns. Like on a Saturday or Sunday, it might be 3 or 4 times.
So I have some good friends that work there. One of them is Randall, and Randall works outside in lawn and garden, but then he gets pulled in to be a monitor for the self-checkout centers. And so anyway, Randall said something about reading the columns that we do each month in the magazine. He said, I also listen to the podcast.
Does he really?
Yeah.
Hey, shout out to Randall. He's such a nice guy.
He is the nicest.
I mean, he always has a
very
positive,
helpful.
and he has a positive attitude. It'll be like 107 out there checking out plants. There's a line 30 people long, and he's still smiling.
Yeah.
Saying nice things to people.
Yeah, he's such a small, slight guy now that I just worry about him being in that heat or the cold, either way, But yeah. Anyway.
He's maybe small but mighty, for sure.
Last of the announcements, we just released last week our monthly newsletter, electronic newsletter called The Dreamery. So if you're not on that email news list, send us your email address. It's free. It comes out once a month. We don't bombard people with anything, but it's got a lot of fun stuff in it. Bonus writing and free music and stuff about the podcast. And
it is good. It's
all
a
things
nice
dreamers come to
it's
there.
a nice way to stay connected. It's easy. Once a month. I've been having such a great time unsubscribing myself from email lists lately. I think what
It's very
happens is
therapeutic.
like you order like some new lipstick, or I'm not you, but whatever, me, and then all of a sudden you find yourself, it's really annoying. Like you get 8, you're on 8 new lists about skincare products, and so unsubscribe. But on some of the ones that I even like we use Priceline a lot. If they want to sponsor us, they can. Typical Hotel for travel, for work,
Along
etc.
with our energy drinks.
Yeah, and so I went on there. I just thought, I don't need a Priceline update every single day.
Apparently they need you to have one.
Yeah, and so I had this nice feature, and it said, check your preferences. So I did, and it said, are you getting too many emails? How about once a week, round up with our specials?
Man,
I was
don't you think you could get that from your humans? That would be so nice.
I thought that was great, because we do
You could
book
have
on their specials. So
parent or associate, and it says getting too many bothers by me. Limit that just to once a month or once a week.
Listen, our daughters in
Once a text.
That's right, once a text. Certain family members. Hi, would you like a quick update once a week? Our daughter's in marching band, as you guys know,
Getting
if you've
too
been
many
listening.
chiding comments just like once a week.
Well, and it's a huge operation. You're talking like hundreds of kids.
Yeah.
It's massive.
As we've been saying, our daughter's in
volunteers.
marching band, which means we're in marching band.
Yes, everyone is. But man, the amount of updates they send every day. I mean, they have to do it. I'm not being critical. It's a huge organization. So you get everything the kids are getting, and then there's like special stuff for the parent volunteers. I woke up this morning, it was like 8 new notifications from your band app. I was like, wow.
Yeah, it's a lot, dude.
Yeah, it's good. But they're going to be amazing.
The Dreamery is nothing like that.
Of course
not. You
Once a
will
month.
always be delighted to get it. It's only once a month, but this particular issue that just came out included a theory that you came up, which we actually talked about on Mystics, but I've been thinking about it since then. But it's AncientNet has a theory.
Oh, yes.
And what was your theory? That
Well, we name our cars. We're those people, and I know you can love us or hate us, but they tend to have personalities, and it's fun. And then we started, naming our trees in the yard. We've been doing it. We had Oklahoma has a lot of it.
Bought a bunch of new ones.
We did. They have a lot of extreme temperatures. We lost a few trees over the winter, so we were replacing. they're investments. Let me tell you,
Yeah.
we'd save up, get a tree, save up. Anyway, so we just started naming
Well,
them.
it started, I think, when some of the trees, it's almost like paint colors. They come up with these really
Yeah,
unique names
they
for the
do.
trees now.
Yeah, so
like
we got
Autumn Bliss,
I love that.
oak trees or whatever.
Well, one of them was called October Skies.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. That's so
Please.
great. But we got a new tree. Actually, I sent you to pick up a tree I had scouted out, and you came
Yes.
back with 2 because everything was 40% off. And you're like, I think we needed this one too. But this was one of those cool kind of weeping, pretty little. And what it's called is a purple rain redbud.
Yeah.
And so we immediately decided that it was Prince because of Purple Rain, right?
Right,
So
exactly.
so Prince became that new tree.
Right.
And then just down the road, your mom had given us a little pine tree. And Evangeline, you started calling the tree Princess because it was next to Prince.
Right.
And it's also a pine tree. And one of Evangeline's favorite books growing up was Princess Pinecone. And
Yeah.
so it's
all about
Prince.
farting pony.
It was about a party. That book was so great.
Yeah.
It was so
The
cute.
tree does not fart,
But
by
it
the
let
way.
out little farts, yeah. So anyway, on Redemption Row, which is the area where we put the trees in to try to recover the old ones. Yeah, so you named him Prince and Princess Pinecone.
Right.
So that
Then
just...
we bought a fern
Oh, yeah.
tree.
This was probably I came up with this one. So he's a fern.
Yeah.
And we named him Franz Ferdinand.
Right. Yeah.
Cracking ourselves up.
Yeah.
But basically, the thing is, we were excited about these trees, and it's been an extreme drought this summer, so we've had to really extra water them and take care. So I have just noticed that when you name things, whether it be a car, an animal, which of course we name those,
A home, or
a
whatever.
home, yeah, or your trees, if you personify them and give them human qualities, you tend to take better care of them.
Humanize them a little bit.
And you're also grateful for them.
Yeah.
Like you go out, you're like, I'm going to water friends.
I go out. My car is a Telluride, so as many of you know, I refer to as Sally, as in ride, Sally, ride, Telluride. And
Sally ride. Mhm.
Yeah. So, but I daily get in the car and say, "Hey, Sally." Yesterday, Sally got a bath, and she's usually, I like to call it crime scene clean. Like I go in, like if you commit you've ever seen a mob movie or something like that, and a crime is committed in a car, then you go try and get rid of all the DNA evidence in your car.
Yeah.
So I call it crime scene clean. So
We
you wipe down
detailed the
everything.
cars,
And
like
so
we did good.
yesterday, and her tail was really wagging. So I go out, and she was actually beaming a little bit extra, and so she's very excited to be clean.
She
So
was,
so
yeah.
every time I get in the car, I'm like, "Hey, Sally, you look nice today," or "Sally, we got to get you clean. I don't know what's going on here," whatever.
That's right.
Yeah, so
it's so true.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's just a little thing, but you might try it. It helps you take better care of things, and it
name your house
expresses
and-
gratitude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like how we refer to our lair here, the Pioneer Dream Studios, as the lair.
Yeah.
And we have a great deal of affection for this spot. So anyway, and I say hello to Pioneer when I come in, or if I'm leaving, or if we're going to go on a trip, I'm like, "Hey, Pioneer, stay cool. We'll be back."
Yeah.
All that good
We
stuff.
do. Yeah. And if you feel like we need to be committed, I get it. It's
Yeah.
fine. We're a little weird like that, but it makes life fun.
It's typical for me on Wednesday. I came into the studio, was doing some early writing and all that kind of stuff, and I walked over to the coffee shop. Shout out to Outpost Coffee and all of our friends
Shout out
there.
Outpost.
Austin and everybody that's over there.
Yes.
And so anyway, sometimes I write there, sometimes I don't. And this morning I realized that I came to the office and did not grab my laptop. So that's no problem. I'll just write here and then go get a coffee later.
Yeah.
So I walked over to get a coffee, and it was like this great convergence. I walked up, and then another friend was walking up, and another friend of ours was seated there, and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Hey!" It was like this, sporadic community meeting. It was really cute.
Love it.
And I love going to the coffee shop and seeing all those faces, especially if you have time,
Yes.
and saying hello. And it's one of the things that makes you really feel like you're in community. And then
Yeah.
I said to my friend Richard, shout out to Richard, who doesn't listen to the podcast, but I can shout out to him anyway.
What up, Richard?
I said, "Hey, you got a minute, or you need to go?" And he said, "No, I got a minute." So we sat down and had 20 minutes of coffee. It was great.
Nice.
And we were talking about his kids and our kid Evangeline and all this stuff. And we were joking about, what it is to parent. And he was trying to teach his son some lessons about, all these different things, and certainly about social media and all that jazz. And all the things that go into being a parent. And I it's tiresome. I think about all the things that go in for us.
So
and,
true.
And I don't know that everybody is touched, in quite as dramatic a fashion as you and I are, but we spend a lot of time thinking about Evangeline, and even when we're home, is she doing the right thing, or is she, watching too much television or too much whatever? Is she doing what she's supposed to be doing? Is she where she's supposed to be, at this moment? Is she, whatever,
getting her homework
keep
done.
her on the track and all that stuff, and it's exhausting. And but we're also really hands-on. And, like I was telling him that, I was telling another friend of mine this too, Mike Robertson.
Yeah.
I was saying, she's a freshman in high school. We still make lunch for her every day, which is by choice. I mean, she could easily do it on her own. She can get free lunch at school if she wants to, but
she
we
likes
like
it.
giving her lunch.
Well, you also make sure she has something that's reasonably healthy, and she's,
gosh.
It's not Twinkies every day.
Yeah,
that's
if
what would happen if she
herself, it'd be nachos and pizza every day. And I'll just flat out tell her, she wants to eat the Cheetos. That's just cardboard with some sprinkles on top. So,
right.
I mean, there's no nutritional value there. So,
right.
So anyway, in each of those lunches, I also include like a note. And,
yes, it's one of your signature trademarks.
It's just our touchstone thing for us. But I also like it because I think, as Mike and I were talking about in the same conversation, he lost his dad early. I lost my dad early, and all that kind of stuff. And none of us ever knows exactly what we have in that. And so for Evangeline, it's like, if I make these notes, it's intentional. It's like, and they're not heavy-handed notes or whatever, but they're kind of cute.
You draw her something. I used to make notes, but then your notes were so much better. I just gave it over to you.
But the whole thing is, she'll never have to wonder.
Yeah.
Oh, if something ever happened to me, she would never have to wonder if my dad loved me or not, if my dad would be proud of me, right? She'll know.
Yeah.
And as you and I joke, which is making it almost impossible for her to find somebody, a mate to run away with, because we're trying to set the bar so high, but I, was reflecting on that, and I was reflecting on with Richard today as we were having coffee that, you most of the time in life, you don't know what anything is until you get past it and you look back and go, oh, that was really hard, but we got through it, or I really did a good job there, or that was really whatever it was, but you don't know until you get through those things. And then occasionally you have a moment as a parent or as a spouse or something like that where you're going through something and you widen out just enough to say, oh, this is going to be one of those moments that this person is going to remember and they're going to hold on to, and they'll tell their future person, oh, yeah, we did this and this and this. And those things are really special. But I think about where we are right now, and it is really ridiculously difficult. I mean, it's hard, but it also has all the feelings of, oh, this is a special moment. And it's part of it, I think, is us getting a little older and you recognize some things.
Yeah.
But I think also, like, I wrote a column a couple of years ago called The Confessions of an Under-Communicator.
Yeah.
And I'm a recovering, anybody that listens to the podcast will know, I'm an under-communicator, a recovering under-communicator. And sometimes being diagnosed as an under-communicator you can be misdiagnosed as being stoic or just quiet.
Or disinterested.
Or sometimes if it's really bad, just stupid. But in the last several years, and all this has been intentional, I've made a lot of progress and change on not being an under-communicator.
Yeah, you've done very well.
And now that we have kids and we know what time is and we know how fleeting time is, this idea of saying, oh, I want to make sure that I tell each of these people, I love you, I think about you, this is whatever this is. And, I gained a lot of that from you because you and your dad too are both great personal communicators.
Oh, that's nice.
But it so changes the sweetness of any given season.
It does.
To see someone and just communicate stuff.
Yeah.
Tell them about your day, tell them about your life, ask them questions, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. What's so funny is we do that so often because it's kind of become a habit or a lifestyle for us, and it comes from a sincere place.
Yes.
But once you start doing that, that's just how you communicate with people.
Right.
And so I'm always surprised when I'll see somebody, like a friend at the gym that I see all the time, and they've had a knee injury, and it's been a while. I can tell they're struggling with it. I say, hey, man, how's the knee? And they look at you and they always say, thanks for asking.
Right.
And it's just so rare that anybody checks in on each other.
Yes.
I feel like that I'm like, well, I should ask. I mean, which is so funny. But I'm always surprised when people say, well, thanks for asking, But we all want to be checked on. We all want to be loved and appreciated. And
it's a really sweet way, the way it kind of helps knit our lives together. It makes us feel seen and connected to people. Like, speaking of working out, I have a habit now of checking in. I'm the one person that when I walk in, I go to nearly every person there usually and say hello to them, ask them how their weekend was or what their day is like or what they're planning on doing that day or something like that. And you learn so much about people.
Yeah.
And now those people are not just co-inhabitants of the workout space. They're friends. They're connected.
Yeah.
And you know them and they know you. And it's really
You're
sweet and special.
great about that at the gym. I kind of need to get through my workout and then I'm friendly.
Well, I don't always feel it. I mean, there are, especially on Monday mornings, I can be the quiet person too. But I really make a concerted effort to go,
you know everybody there. It's really awesome. I love that because I have some people from the gym over. I had the girls over for a back to school brunch, which, fancy, but it was just, there were so many people I didn't know up in the front of the gym. And it was neat. And now I know their names and I know how many kids they have and that type of thing. And sometimes you have to instigate a way to get to know people and connect. Most of the time you do. And so, that's been pretty cool this week to know them.
Well, it really does add to the sweetness of life. And I think about Evangeline gives me a hard time about it now because, as you get older, you change and all that kind of stuff. And I was not always, obviously a good part of it was my kind of family system that I grew up in. We were under-communicators, and it was difficult. And the challenge with under-communicating, as we talk about, is that it leaves people to kind of guess. Does this person like me? Does this person feel
when
this way?
When somebody's quiet and they don't express
fill in the gaps.
Yeah, you think they probably don't like me, do they?
Yeah, and so it's been a lot. And my mom grew up in a family that was kind of bad at under-communicating.
Yeah,
stoic.
Great family, awesome people. But
they didn't really relate like, hey, I love you.
No.
And so you don't know.
We say I love you so much in our family. It's a little bit annoying.
Yeah,
I came in, which is great. I mean, it's sweet. Evangeline was doing her homework and she was annoyed with me. I was like, hey, listen, you need to get that done because we're having dinner, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
She was like, okay, love you. Okay.
For her, that was just the period of the sentence. This is the period of the conversation. This is done now. Love you.
Shut
That's
my
the
door.
salutation. Out.
Yeah.
But it's so important. And I think, I learned that, as an under-communicator, I was requiring a lot of people to fill in the gaps. And by human nature, we generally fill in the gaps with the worst case scenario.
We do. We think I'm disappointing that person.
Right.
Yeah.
And you'll say that to me, like even now, occasionally, like if you don't
I'll
say
catch
this,
you on
I
it,
don't know what you're feeling. And so, I think about like when I was kind of diagnosing myself as an under-communicator, I was thinking about things like the fact that you are the most important person in my life. And,
that's so nice.
And we have this really great relationship. There's not much we couldn't talk about, and all that kind of stuff. And yet I think about the number of times in a day or a week where I think things about you, that I love you or that you're beautiful or that you handled something well or that I appreciate that.
Are you trying to get bonus points today?
No, but I think those things. And then even though you're the closest person to me, I wouldn't necessarily say them. And why?
That's the irony is I think the people that we're closest to are the ones we don't say those things to.
You think that they know.
Yeah.
And
you're
they
like,
don't.
oh, they know I love them. Oh, they know that. Yeah. And we thank each other. Please don't think we're perfect because I'm remembering last night before dinner we both got pretty pissed at each other about something.
Yeah.
But once we had cleared that up, then I was like, hey, you made dinner last night and it was extra great. I was doing other stuff and I said, hey, man, thank you. That was so good. That was really delicious. I mean, it's just like I find that thanking people for the thankless tasks is especially important.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I'll say sometimes to our daughter, if she leaves for marching band super early and her room is picked up pretty well, I'll say pretty well. Sometimes I'll just email her, hey, thanks for leaving your room so nice today.
Yeah.
Whatever. Those are things that are expected, but we can still give gratitude.
Well, we often say the things that need to be taken care of.
Yeah, that's so true.
We often say
Can
the
you do
things
this?
that are quote unquote negatives.
Right.
But we rarely say as often or rarely say at all the things that are positives like, oh, this is nice. Oh, this is thing. We were referencing this podcast that was on, I think it's called The Next Big Idea.
Yeah.
And this guy, I think it was on that one. He was talking about getting back to tangibles. Like there's so many things that have been removed from our lives.
That was a really good episode, yeah.
So, like we do digital menus now, and part of that was a health thing that had to be done.
Yeah, initially, but then everybody settled back.
Yeah.
So you have to look it up.
Or, doors that open automatically or things. We've been kind of bent on conveniencing our lives as much as possible.
Yeah.
And a lot of that has removed, even like Randall at the, Lowe's Depot.
Yeah.
Where I see him the most right now is at the at the self-service checkout centers.
Yeah.
So he just kind of hovers there. There's like 5 or 6 of these little
But
monitors.
there's less human contact.
Yeah, but I'm not there with the person saying, how's your day? What's
Yeah.
going on with you? And so we are kind of dehumanizing that moment for the sake of convenience.
Yeah, it's like our highest value is efficiency over connection, and that's dangerous. I went to the store Five Below the other day just to pick up some extra school supplies, and I always get stuff on sale, so I don't like the self checkout because rarely the computer knows. So if that person is available, the helper that's in that stall, I'll say, hey, do you mind helping me? And they just do it for me. And then I get to say, great job. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
And then so I don't like that concept now that everything is something you have to do on your own by yourself.
Right.
I can do that all day at work.
Yeah.
So I like that connection.
Well, and part of that, so this guy was saying, the whole thing is supposed to be time saving and convenience, and then, but for what? Or, on the other side of things, there'll be these kind of self-improvement things we're talking about. Well, just slow down and be in the now and get away from your phone and all that stuff. And he was saying, and then what? Yeah. So he was saying it's not the big things, it's the little things. It's that make this certain part of your life kind of joyous.
Yes.
And so stopping in a moment and thinking, oh, I like green apples. I like the way they crunch.
They're crunchy.
I like the way they feel when my teeth cut into them, or the flavor of it. Or, I like, and I've been trying to do this more and more. Like I get into bed and thinking, oh yeah, I really like the way the air purifier over here has just this kind of gentle hum.
Yeah, it's perfect.
It's almost like a noise barrier.
Yeah.
Or the way that this blanket has a particular weight to it and feels kind of heavy, which is comforting. Yeah. Or the way the fan feels on your face. Yeah. And there's something about that, like the under-communicating, that's kind of like identifying things as you go through, and you think, oh yeah, the way that, the car feels when I get into it, and it smells and it looks, and I'm like, oh yeah. Or any number of those 100 things that in your daily life you have these things that are kind of on a subliminal level that maybe you don't even realize that if there are 3 options, you kind of go to this one option the most because there's something about whatever that option is that just
appeals to you.
Tangibly like more.
Well, his theory, which I really love, is that we have these moments of pleasure or joy that are available to us all throughout the day. And often they're things that we might think are mundane. Right. But if you slow down just enough, or you become more aware of them,
there's shine in that. There's joy in that.
You're joyful. You get in your car, you're like, my car's clean. This is so great. Like, it's just noticing. It's just awareness. Right. And we live in a culture that if efficiency is our highest value, one of our highest values, then the side of that is distraction. I mean, the downside of that. And so I feel like my mind's always spinning if I let it with all these things around me. But just, to stop and just say, like he even talked about, which is funny, that he likes, here we go, that he likes the way his voice sounds in the podcast microphone. Which,
me too.
Really,
me
but
too,
it does. Like, I mean, we wear earphones.
I want to walk around with this microphone wherever I go.
And like somehow when the mic's on, you're a little more articulate, and
your voice drops a little bit. You become more comforting.
Yeah, I know your podcast voice.
Enunciate more.
Yeah, but I mean, just noticing that was like, I like doing this for lots of reasons, but it's also kind of cool the way it sounds in my headphones. Yeah. But those are things that may seem silly, but they bring joy.
I like the procedure I go through in the morning when I wake up. Yeah. And my mom and dad always have really loved coffee machines for a long time.
They have fancy coffee machines.
My mom upgraded her coffee machine, a while back, and she was generous. She gave us the old coffee machine.
Oh, man, and it is nice.
And it is nice. And it does about 12 different things, of which we only do one, make coffee.
We're like coffee.
But I like the procedure of it. It has whole beans that go in the top canister, and you feed those canisters, and you can smell the coffee there. It has a little menu thing, and you select what you want it to do, and then it grinds up the coffees, and then it comes in here.
It's a cool sound.
And then I really love the way Outpost, shout out again, Outpost, they do this cold foam for me on my coffee, which is really fantastic. And I've kind of figured out what that looks like and how to do it, so I do that.
Oh, look at you go.
So meanwhile...
Hey, I want one of those tomorrow.
It's not Mr. Coffee where you wake up and the timer's already clicked on and the coffee's in the pot and you just go get it. Yeah. There is this...
Which would be more efficient.
Yeah, there's this enjoyable pattern. There's this enjoyable wake-up procedure that is kind of nice.
Yeah.
And I like doing that thing.
Yeah.
And then I get my coffee and it gives me a minute to kind of wake up a little bit and I put the things together and I have a routine that while this part of the process is happening, I go over here and I do this. And when that part of the process is over, I come over and I do this.
Yeah.
And then I go out and I have my coffee. And I love that. I love the fact that, even though it's a lot right now with Evangeline being in band and she has to be at the high school about
6:30,
12 different times in a week and all this kind of stuff,
lot,
that when we go pick her up, like I was having this thing the other day, we're very fortunate that we're just like 2 blocks away from the high school. So it's not a big thing for us, but
Right.
jump in the car. I'm going to go pick her up after whatever practice in the afternoon or evening. And as I'm taking the back road to the high school, I get on the campus and I realize over here on the football field, there's just, something's going on. Probably the marching band is already out there, that, and the color guard's out there and flag or whatever they're called now. And then over here on the practice field is the football team and they're doing their thing. And then even over here, there's some other fields like softball fields and stuff. And something's happening over there with a youth club of some kind.
Yeah.
And they're doing that. And then over here in the rehearsal facility, that's happening. And then the orchestra group is doing their thing over there. And so every square inch of that campus is being used in that moment. And it feels like such a community thing.
Yeah.
Like all the youth of a certain age are here and participating and part of this thing in this facility. And I'm thinking how important this high school campus is for our city, that all these kids are being touched in some place, in some way by that.
There's an energy to it, which is really cool.
And so maybe, this under-communicating thing and this, this efficiency or anti-efficiency thing, part of it is about awareness and part of it is about an acknowledgement of awareness. So it's one thing, like we would talk about like gratitude. It's wonderful in your mind to acknowledge or to think, oh, well, this is pleasant. It's pleasant this sunrise this morning. It's pleasant this temperature drop today. It's pleasant this whatever. It's a wholly different thing to then say that out loud either to yourself or to the universe or to God or to a person and say, what a beautiful day. I get messages from my mom on the regular, oh, this sunrise today, because she happens to live alone. So for her, texting me that with a picture of the sunrise.
No, she's so
like
cute.
if you got a hold of mom's phone, like 75% of the photos would just be sunrises and plants.
Yeah. I love that about your mom. She's always loved nature, and she'll say, "Hey, do you see this?"
But there's a verbalizing. One thing is just living your life with an awareness. Oh, I see this. I see this. I see this. I see this about you, but then there's another thing about verbalizing that and communicating it. So to see or to think, oh, you're beautiful, that's great. But for me to tell you, oh, you're beautiful, well, that's a whole other thing. For me to think, oh, this is there's Sally, what a great car. And then also, even if it's just to Sally to say, you look really nice today, Sally, you're beautiful.
Wow.
So there's this thing about speaking this stuff out loud, so for me, to see Richard today when I was getting coffee, is nice. And I can say, hey man, how you doing? I can wave or whatever. But then to say, hey, I love you. Yeah. Hey, do you have a minute? Which is to say, I'm so excited about seeing you. I'd like to spend a moment here with you. I'd like to give some of my time to acknowledge your goodness by being with you. And let's take a few minutes and let's do that. And I won't regret spending that time. We had a very close friend, Morris McCorvey, who was in our independent film and on stage stuff that we did, and we worked together on a bunch of different things, but we were also really close friends. And he was
gifted writer, gifted
he was
teacher,
a poet.
mentor.
If you asked him, "Who are you? What do you do?" He said, "I'm a poet."
And amazing man.
He meant it, and he lived, as a poet, and he had been battling health stuff for a long, long time. And it was difficult for him for about 2 years. And one day I was late for something. I came bounding out of the office downstairs, and his car happened to be out front. And there was a store underneath us, and somebody from his car had run into the store to get something for him. And I waved because I was late. And normally I would have gone over to the car, put my hand on his arm or told him I love him or did something. And I even remember having the thought, I'm late. I can't really do that right now.
Right.
And that was the last time I saw him.
Oh, gosh.
Because he died like a week later.
Yeah.
And I'm not beating myself up over that.
And you had no idea. Yeah.
But there are those moments.
Yeah.
And just the idea of taking advantage of that. I hate name tags. I hate wearing name tags. I love it that everybody else does. And so even at the Lowe's Depot, I know Randall because his name tag said Randall. And so I would say hello to Randall, and I'll say hello to Gary, and I'll say hello to Laura and the people that work there and call them by name, because it's a matter of them feeling like they're seen, and they know that that's their name tag and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But I love it, being able to talk to them.
Yeah, and those type of interactions, I mean, it's goofy. It sounds like we're on Mr. Rogers right now, but hey, that's okay.
Yeah.
They're important. And if we treated each other with more just civility and kindness and interest, it would change the world.
Yeah.
I mean, it literally would.
It's much harder to hate people that you talk to and have a relationship with and you compliment and you encourage.
Yes. One of the guys we saw at Outpost, man, this one's sponsored by Outpost.
Yeah.
Free coffee, we'll take it. No, I'm kidding. Anyway, we saw this sweet guy that we don't really know. He's kind of a friend of a friend, but I happen to know he's been struggling with cancer treatment.
It's probably his third bout of cancer.
So we saw him today, and he was on a walker, but looking pretty good, and and we said, "Man, how you doing?" And we were on our way out, and we were a little behind, but we still took time to do that. And then he explained that kind of what was going on, and then he said what I said earlier. He goes, "Well, thanks for asking." Yeah, and I thought, good God, this guy has really suffered, and he's in some really tough times, and who knows how long he has. I don't know.
Yes. Right.
And it's sad that somebody in that condition has to say, thanks for asking.
Right.
I mean, we should be asking. Yeah. And, and hey, there are times we're not trying to sound holier than thou at all, because I made the wrong decision on that with somebody yesterday that I probably should have taken some time for. There are times where you are late to a meeting.
Right.
And
you can't always do it.
No, exactly. You're late to pick up your kid and all that, and that's going to happen. But if you have a few moments to do that, do it when you can. And it will. It changes everything.
There's just 1,000 reasons to do it, but one, it will make your life so much richer, so much more enjoyable. I can remember the first time we did a long-term project in Chicago, and it was 3 or 4 months or something like that. And we came back for a project about halfway through being away. And so here we are in a community, whatever it was, 3 million people, something like that. Yeah. Maybe more than that.
Population of the state of Oklahoma in one city.
Right. And then we came back here for a weekend, population, 50,000, a few less. And, so then while we're here that weekend, I run into the auto store for something, and then I saw 2 or 3 people I knew, and I thought, this is kind of great that you can be in a place and that people know you and you know them and all that kind of stuff. And, and then got back to Chicago, and no one knew we were gone and no one knew we were there. And that's okay too. That's a nice thing sometimes too. But
speaking
so it will make your life sweet. But then also, there is this thing about you will never regret, even on your deathbed, being personable. Yeah. You'll never regret when time passes. Thinking, I shouldn't have been so friendly. I shouldn't have been so conversational. I shouldn't have cared so much. There's a time to focus on the people you're with, and we have that with family. Like, we have family members that are, obviously well known or whatever, and it's hard to have a conversation with them when you go out in public. And so there is a time to kind of give the person you're immediately with attention and hone in on that. But there's a lot of it to be given to the people. Yeah,
I was speaking of Mr. Rogers. I was thinking about that. It's funny, but we think back about that show that we were raised on as kids. And, he did the segments about the baker and the butcher and the teacher and the postman and all these different people. And it was his, who are the people in your neighborhood? Is that for Sesame Street?
Sesame Street, yeah.
In your neighborhood. Yeah. So those little songs and stuff. And I think somehow what's funny is I think now a lot of people, at least in our part of the country, would pass that off as like liberal, whatever, like, oh, well, okay, yeah, you got to know everybody in your neighborhood. But anyway, the point is, those are important interactions. Yes. And what studies are showing, even with the, the onslaught of efficiency and the self-check and the whatever, those little interactions that we have with people on a regular basis, seeing the same people at Starbucks, knowing your barista, seeing, knowing the guy that delivers your mail or whatever, make a big difference in the way that we feel interconnected in the world. So we're fighting this, epidemic of isolation. We talk about this kind of stuff a lot with the Kids and Dreamers Club. But as adults, we are letting that go. We have some neighbors that we never ever see, which is really interesting. Part of it is the design of their house, the driveway kind of goes down and you go right into the garage. I remember my dad telling this story, which was so interesting. Growing up, we moved from New Mexico to Oklahoma. Yes, there was some culture shock. My parents were from Tulsa. And so, but anyway, he said that he would be at our first little house there. We're all little kids at this time. Yeah. And there would be this lady that lived across the street.
This was in New Mexico?
No, this was actually when we moved to Oklahoma. I'm sure it was happening everywhere. Yeah. And he liked to meet the neighbors, but he could never get to know her because of the exact time she would leave at like 7:50 every morning. Her car would open the garage door, ultimate efficiency and convenience, right? Open the garage door, pull out, drive to work, come back at 5:02, pull right into the garage door and shut. He said he never saw her. Wow. And he thought, how lonely. Yeah. So that's the peak of efficiency, right? You're in, you're out, you're in your house. But that's it. That's the kind of culture that we're combating. Yeah. It is important that we know one another. Yeah. It is important that we show kindness, and not only for the other people, but really for our own soul. Yes. I mean, it's a soulless way to live, ultimately efficient and alone. Right. And so one way that you can fight the epidemic of isolation is to unisolate yourself and to give a little, man. Yeah. Give a little.
Well, you get so much more in return, obviously. Yeah.
We don't do things for the return.
Right.
But the return is
significant.
It's significant. Yeah. Exactly.
Well, it works on every front, the idea of telling family. I saw, I was making this joke, I have family that live about 45 minutes north in Coffeyville, Kansas. Yes. And we always joke because they live in a fairly small community, so they come here for a lot of things. So that,
like Lowe's or
Walmart. To eat restaurants or come to Lowe's Depot or, Walmart or whatever. And so I was at the Lowe's Depot and
of course
checking out, and there all of a sudden here comes my uncle and aunt, and I'm like, oh my gosh! And we stood there for 30 minutes.
Love it,
And but it was such a joy to see them, and I just thought of myself as so lucky to put my arms around my uncle and tell him I love him. Yeah. Look in his eyes and be able to communicate that. And it was sweet. It doesn't happen nearly as often as I want it to. Yeah. But
you made a
tremendously
connection.
Special to do it there.
I had a friend text me the other day, and this is pretty interesting. Sometimes you wonder if the stuff that we're doing makes any difference in terms of dreamers and the podcast, and because that's all we're trying to do is try to bring a little light into the world, however we can, and everybody does that in their own way, and this is ours. Yeah. But I had a friend who I was real involved at our daughter's middle school, which was great. And it was a small enough thing that I got very involved and had lots of friends. So it's been a sad transition for me this year as our daughter's in high school. Yes. I know that those opportunities and connections will come, but I'm in between people. Right. And that's hard for me. And that's part of why I was feeling sorry for myself earlier. But anyway, this particular friend, we had spent 3 years together working on stuff with the kids, and great person. But some people just weren't raised in a family like you were saying, Under-Communicators, an amazing person, but just in terms of affection, you kind of feel this. Yeah. And so I remember on that day of graduation, eighth grade promotion, I just went up to this person, gave him a hug, and I said, I am really going to miss you. And it weirded the person out, but then they took the hug and said, I'm going to miss you too. So sometimes you have to make it weird. Yes. We talk about that, and it is awkward, but there was a connection that formed. Right. And she texted me out of the blue the other day and said, I was talking with my son, and he said, Mom, why don't parents have friends like kids do? And it made them think. And she said, well, a lot of times, babe, it's because we're busy taking you to all your stuff and our lives become about you. And he said, you guys need to get together with some people. Yeah. Which was really cute, astute observation from her middle schooler. And she texted me and she said, my son said this, and she says, and you're at the top of my list. And I thought, wow, that took me 3 years to get to the point where that person would
Right.
feel comfortable enough. But that's what you have waiting for you.
Yes.
If you're the one that's willing to take the risk
Right.
and to show appreciation for somebody.
Yes.
And it takes so little, but it makes, I mean, that swelled my heart. I felt like the Grinch was like, and my heart grew 10 times, you know, because I've been working on that,
Yeah.
you know? So anyway, it's a better way to live,
Yeah.
you know?
Are we human or are we dancers? You know?
I'd like to think we're both. Thank you for that Killers reference.
yeah.
That was nice.
Yeah. It starts with awareness. It starts with seeing. It starts with looking, you know, whether it's tangible things that you like or things about other people that you like or experiences that you're having. It starts with being open and honest. This is not working for me. This is working for me. This is how I feel. This is what I'm thinking. It starts with asking questions, which is always a powerful thing.
Yeah.
How's your day? What's going on for you? What's that like for you? How do you feel about that? But then this communication thing has such a significant change in the quality of your life. And I'm just telling you, as a recovering under-communicator, somebody who's been through the process, and it's probably more than 12 steps, but it just matters.
Yeah.
It just changes things. It makes you feel alive. And so if you're missing that, if you're rudderless, if you are, you know, in that situation where you feel numb at some level, try these things.
Yeah.
Try communicating. Try reaching out. It will be awkward. There will be weird silences and weird looks and all that kind of thing on occasion, but it will be worth it.
It is.
Say hello to your post person.
That's right.
Acknowledge the person serving you at the restaurant, person at the car wash, wherever it is.
Be the first to make yourself vulnerable in
Yeah.
a small way. That's
Yeah.
the key. And
And you'll have to
it's
do it
life
out
changing.
loud. You'll
I mean,
have to
I've
say it out loud.
observed your shift in that as
Yeah.
you have worked on this. You've always been a delightful person.
Well, please.
Now you have more people than you can shake a stick
Yeah,
out, you know,
right.
as they say in Oklahoma, with you know, friends and people that
Yes.
want to be around you because you have become verbal about
feel
how you
alive.
feel.
Yeah.
It's really good. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. Humans, I'm proud of you. Thanks for being with us. Don't forget to mark your calendars for September 25th. That's when we'll be doing our Dreamers Live event at
Yes.
the Mystery location, which we'll be telling you about next probably. And don't forget to sign up for the Dreamery and to get all that stuff and to hear more about Anjanette's theory, which is so worth it.
Oh, thank you so
Just
much.
email us your email address and we'll get you signed on.
Yes.
And
And
then,
in the meantime, ask a
socials.
friend out to coffee, like we
Yeah.
just, and maybe send him this podcast.
Yeah.
And just say, hey, listen to this. Let's go to coffee.
And
And
talk.
And just start connecting, man.
Yes.
You can do it.
Thank you, humans. We'll see you soon. Peace out.
See ya.
Thanks for listening. Please like, subscribe, and share this episode. And remember, continue this conversation with someone you know. This is Pioneer Dream.